Today, we're chatting with Lisa Lundy, founder and CEO of Complex Creatures, a disruptive personal care brand dedicated to making breast wellness mainstream. When Lisa's sister and co-founder Tara was diagnosed with breast cancer at 37, they felt compelled to bring this important topic of making time for breast health to the masses. Through products, education, and community, Complex Creatures is changing the conversation around breast health across all stages of life. Okay, let's make time for Lisa Lundy.
We are so excited to have Lisa Lundy with us today on the Make Time podcast. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us. And tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at Complex Creatures.
Thanks, Helen and Emma. It's so good to see you. It's been a while. It's great to meet you, Helen. And thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here and share a little bit about breast health with your community. Complex Creatures is a first of its kind breast care company, and it's been in the world for about 2 years. And I started with my sister, who's a breast cancer survivor. And I've spent most of my career in brand marketing and helping other companies launch their business and get their companies out to the world. And so going through that experience with Tara, it really illuminated how much we didn't know about our breasts, and that we weren't really thinking about how to care for them, even going through treatment, the different products that she was looking for. And so I don't know, I saw this white space and this opportunity and thought about all the things I had in my medicine cabinet in my kitchen and whatever that were for every other part of my body. And that this was kind of a missing piece of women's personal care. So I started making the product myself at home at first and thought maybe other people might want this too.
I love the product. So I know that you have an oil, and then is it a balm?
Yes. So we have a breast oil that's really meant to be incorporated in your everyday self-care. I started really making it because I was starting perimenopause I was in my mid 40s, and I had really sore breasts every month. That was never really an issue for me. And sometimes my cycle would be really late and could be a couple weeks that you're just in such discomfort. And, Western medicine, they're like, well, it's just how it goes. And I thought something's out of balance and started doing some research and looking for more, I hate saying alternative, but not traditional Western modalities, and looking towards, acupuncture, Chinese medicine, herbs, integrated medicine, and really understanding that there's an imbalance and there are things we can do to support lymphatic flow and really like moving that, it's really stagnant estrogen. So really moving that excess estrogen, taking herbs to support the liver, et cetera. So that's how the oil was born. And the balm actually is formulated for really compromised skin. So skin going through radiation treatment, or recovering from that, even well after you've had radiation. If the skin is it's really tight. It never really comes back to the way it was. And Tara, my sister and co-founder, when she went through radiation, she had found this homemade balm from a woman locally, and was cute. It was in this little jar. It was just super homemade, clean product. And her skin her doctors and the nurses could not believe. They were like, what are you using? Her skin was really, really stayed super healthy through radiation. And so she wanted to give that to other women. And it was really hard to track this woman down. She was older. She did it kind of as a hobby. So once we realized that we wanted to start this company, that was very early in our product roadmap. So it's also helps to heal scars. So it's really a multi-use balm, and people use it for any scars. People use it for C-section scars. We've also thyroid and throat cancer seems to be on the rise for men. So we have a lot of, and that skin there is so delicate. So we have quite a few customers who are men going through treatment for that kind of cancer.
So tell us why and when should women be making time for breast wellness? You're saying that your sister was 37 years old. That seems fine, but I mean, when do you think that we should be checking our breasts, looking after our breasts?
Every day. I think, even from the time of puberty, we started thinking about this, within the context of cancer, immediate terror, in her immediate need, and then myself, being high risk because of her diagnosis. But then sort of pull back and thought about from the time we start to develop breasts, right? We don't cultivate a relationship with them really, and get to know them and think, what's happening with them. And there's a lot of taboo and discomfort around touching our own breasts. It's hard for people to think about the breast not as sexual. It can be sexual, but it's also just another part of our bodies. So our roadmap and the way we're thinking about this as a category is really that we want products and to help young people with breasts to connect with their bodies as they're developing and to really be familiar with them, to know them, to feel ownership of them. And I sometimes wonder, if I had think about if you had felt really good and connected to maybe you did, but if you felt really good and connected to your breasts, whatever size they were, however they looked, what would that relationship how would that have transformed, or informed your sexuality, your confidence, your relationship to other women, to men, et cetera. So I think it's something that is really just a huge miss that we're thinking about. And even in the context of the women's health space, it's still often really forgotten. So it's a long-winded way of saying, so really thinking about from then, if you have young girls and teenagers, start thinking about this and talking to them. But just for your regular woman, if you're under 40, talk to your doctor. There are ways to understand, I think this isn't done enough. What are the risk factors, right? I think the biggest shock to us was that, everybody knows the 1 in 8 statistic, right? 1 in 8 women. But the thing that we were so surprised by is that breast cancer is hereditary and that less than 10% of diagnoses are hereditary. So the majority of breast cancer cases have no family history. And when we tell people that, they're like, wait, what? You almost think it's the reverse, right? So there are a lot of factors that go into breast health from, of course, family history and genetics, diet, exercise, how many pregnancies you've had, when you got pregnant for the first time, birth control, alcohol intake. There are really so many, factors that kind of come into play when thinking about breast health or your risk for cancer. So there's that. And then I think even, getting your baseline mammogram at 40, if you're not high risk, that also changes. They just changed it this year. And as people were posting about it, everybody kept saying, oh, wait, I thought it was 40. That, even the medical industry, they're changing the guidelines. They tell you to do a self-exam, and they tell us not to do a self-exam because maybe we don't know our own bodies. And, so there's not a vote of confidence really coming from the medical community that we would know our own bodies. So I think there's, it's a little scary. You might not know what you're looking for. And even, if you're at the doctor or the gynecologist, it's like, a flat picture with a cartoon drawing and arrows, kind of directing you to what you should do. And it's part of what we want to do is we want to really talk about it and show you what to do and talk you through it. And so that's been something that's been really important to us to be really transparent and just share information because we felt like we didn't have a resource.
I think that's so interesting because I'm that person, the diagram of how to do a self-breast exam. And I think it's so important. I mean, so many young women are showing so many things on social media, which is great. But this is something that should really be visually shown to people because I'm 53 and I'm still, when I do my own breast exam, I have no idea what I'm doing or if I'm doing it right or, there's just not a comfort level there. So I think the visuals are so great. And And then also, like you were talking about the relationship with young women when they get breast to begin with. I mean, from a parent of a daughter, it's like, oh, no, they're developing, like it comes with so much other stuff that I think that positive breast relationship is such an important thing. I'm so glad you brought that up, because even as a parent, I'm like, wow, I could have done some stuff different, and it's a great conversation. Like, yay, like this is a beautiful thing, and this is what we need to do now, so.
Yeah, no, I do too. Tell me 3 tips how you make time for breast health.
So I think overall, thinking about my everyday, like eating clean as possible, not making yourself crazy, but really our diet, what we put in and on our bodies is so, so important. We do have a lot, there's some environmental elements that we can't control, but there really is a lot within our control. And so don't make yourself crazy and get overwhelmed, but really I put that top of mind about what I'm eating, drinking, products, etc. I really encourage everyone to just touch your breasts, even if it's for 30 seconds a day. Just know them. Use our oil or another oil or even your products, Emma, that are clean. They don't have to be breast specific, but just in the same way that you think how many items do you put on your face and your body and your hair and nails and on. Just create a moment, a little time, a little intention. It's where we get our ability to nurture others too, is connected to the breast. So really in that way we know, like, got to put the oxygen mask on first, or, what all those different little things that we talk about as moms and women to care for others. And to really just check in and start to do some massage. We have some videos. It can be really simple. It's not complicated. Lymph is really soft. I'm just going to do it here quickly. You can do it while you're on the phone. I can do it sometimes like here when I'm watching TV, like I'll sit and watch TV and I do it and I'll be in traffic. Just make it part of your day, normalize it. If you feel scared, we hear anecdotally that so many women feel afraid to touch their breasts or they don't like their breasts. And so that becomes a roadblock for people. And I think kind of the greatest thing that our products have done, or some of the best feedback that we've gotten, it's always really amazing to know that you're supporting someone going through treatment. But the thing that really moves and excites us are customers who reach out to us who said they're using our oil regularly has changed their relationship to their breast. So hasn't changed so much how they look, their size, et cetera. Maybe they're a little firmer, but it changes the relationship to them. And that to me is so powerful and such a big part of our mission and what we're doing. And that can be through our products or just creating that intentionality. And part of the intent with the oil is to create something that's a little bit luxurious and, looks good and smells good and sort of motivate you to take that action on your own behalf.
My question is that so you're saying daily, what if we're not doing it daily, right? But is there a time during your cycle that you should check your breasts?
Yeah. And so even when I say every day, I don't mean to do a self-exam every day by any means. You should do your self-exam about a week after you get your period if you're still menstruating. It's when your breasts are sort of the most calm. There is that campaign Feel It on the First, which is awesome, but the first of the month isn't always the time for each person to do it, but it's just a great reminder. There are times, even as someone that this is my life, I can really get off track. And I noticed I'm happy. I'm like on that sort of the other side of perimenopause, and I don't have that soreness anymore. And I do the massage kind of a lot less. I was doing it because they were always like, I was irritated. So I think just that at least once a month, the formal exam. We have a lot of how-to videos on our Instagram if you want to go check it out if you don't know. And there's certainly other sites that have it as well. And then, it's more the breast self-awareness. So when you can, just to think about it, and create that intentionality. And I think to not be so, if you forget to do it or whatever, just like pick it back up again. I can be so all or nothing sometimes. And, I've meditated and forget it. Let me just start with a couple minutes today. Get back on. So it doesn't have to be a lot. Tara always says some attention is better than none. So, and really knowing your body. Her husband found her tumor. She actually didn't feel it herself. He had felt it. So really underscores just the importance of, and then once she felt it, she was like, oh yeah, I feel that. But sort of that disconnect from her own body.
I think one of my big takeaways from this conversation is I'm so guilty of like rushing to get ready, and I'll do my face and I'll throw some lotion on my arms and my legs and what's exposed. And I'm just not putting any lotion on my girls, like I'm just doing because I'm in a hurry all the time. So just to make time to make sure that I'm not just doing what's visible, and I'm really taking care of my whole entire body, including my breasts, because I'm like minutes, and I'm like, no, I forgot to put on lotion. And so I'm like throwing something on the exposed parts if my arms are ashy or something. So that's a really big takeaway for me today. Thank you.
That's great. And the other thing I'll say, it's almost, sometimes, I don't know if you do a face mask or have that a little bit of a longer routine, or maybe you take a bath or do something, work it in then, at least, if every day feels like a lot. What I like about the even 30 seconds a day is just your breasts change throughout your life. Always. They're always changing. It's one of the reasons that they're so susceptible to toxins and to cancer is the nature of the breast is always changing. And so the cells are always changing. So just to, stay kind of in touch and current with your body.
That's such good information. Yeah. Okay, Lisa, I'm going to turn it over to what are you not making time for that you are going to commit to making more time for?
I would say these days I'm probably not, and there's so many things, but the biggest one probably is really like taking care of my spiritual condition, meditation, getting quiet, breathing, and really just doing those little extra internal, journaling, I would say my overall spiritual condition, the things that go into that, it feels like I just will start racing into the day, be it, even if it's some other type of self-care, like exercise or seeing a friend or whatever, it's, getting quiet sometimes feels like a hurdle for me. And booking my colonoscopy, which I'm overdue for.
I have to do that as well.
I have to too. We all have to make time for that.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so anything final that you would like to share with our Make Time community that is listening today?
I think going through, in terms of breast health, I would say so many people, and Emma, I think if you've been touched by it personally in some way, it's on your radar in a different way. And if it hasn't, or just talking to your girlfriends, the women in your life, your daughters at dinner. We have someone just bought 3 bottles of our oil for 50th birthday gifts. Or if you're thinking about, when you turn 40, make sure your friend's getting her mammogram, and are we going together? Just like kind of, helping each other out, just like it's another piece of, I think, where we could help each other more. And I don't talk about it to scare people, but the statistics, even though we have more awareness and better treatment, the incidence of breast cancer is on the rise. So that's always kind of, I don't know, we're headed in the wrong direction. So, just becoming more aware of all the different things that go into it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that haven't been touched by it. And I think breast cancer runs on my maternal side. So, from the age of 37, I've been going for ultrasounds, mammograms, and I've been doing that for many years. So it's something that I do yearly, and I am checking my breasts and I'm doing all of that. But if it's not on your radar, it's so easy to just miss and like put on the back burner.
That's me, not on my radar. And I'm famous for putting it on the back burner. And it's so important. If anybody hears anything, that you're making time for your mammograms, you're getting it done. This has been such an amazing conversation. Lisa, thank you so much for sharing time with us today. So excited to learn more about you and your brand. And thanks for being on the Make Time podcast.
Thanks for having me. And was going to share a code with your audience, if that's okay.
Yes, do.
You're just going to keep it simple. It's just make time for 20% off, and would love for anyone to try it. The oil's great for everyone, except if you're going through active treatment. If you are going through active treatment for breast cancer, anybody needs that bomb.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lisa. So I really encourage every single woman listening to check out Complex Creatures for breast wellness products. She's been so kind, and she's given our listeners 20% off all products on Complex Creatures' site. Just use the code MAKETIME, and we will link Complex Creatures and discount code in the show notes. Again, Lisa, thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope that listening to our podcast has empowered you to make more time for yourself. So please remember to subscribe and share with a friend who could also use a healthy reminder on the importance of making time.
Make sure to tune in, as we will continue to have incredible guests that will share their Make Time tips on our upcoming episodes. Come say hi to us over on @MakeTimePod on social media, or visit us at MakeTimeWellness.com.
Until next time, make time.